Cryptocurrency Updated is Wednesday, the 19th of June, 2024. Bitcoin has had a little bit of a bounce here. So for the first time, really, we've seen what could be a decent low across the market. I think especially when you look at Ethereum, had a really decent bounce yesterday. However, we're not out of the woods yet. We are still in a, I'm going to stop walking. We are still in this downtrend locally. And yeah, until that changes and until we see some kind of significant strength here, I think that this could continue to go lower. I did say in yesterday's update video that what I am now anticipating is kind of a long, slow, drawn out summer that can keep us within this range for a while. I don't think anymore, because of the damage that has been done over the past couple of weeks with this chart, I'm not really anticipating new all-time highs or like massive pumps again within the next few weeks. However, I do think that this is somewhere where we could start to find some support to climb back up, maybe towards that 66 is only just above. That's still not great. But potentially back up towards 69, 70K again. Maybe we just keep playing out this range for a while. Now, if this is to be a low, it still could get revisited later. We could have a longer correction here. If this doesn't hold, then okay, there is still space below, okay, down here that we have not yet fully resolved. Essentially, there is imbalance down here. This was a big impulse up. It has dipped into this, which is decent. If you look at where our lows were, if you look at where this big gap is on the 4-hour time frame, and it's the same on the daily, we have dipped into it. We have reacted from that. But so far, at least from Bitcoin, okay, remains within this downtrend that could continue until we see this start to shift. And then we start to see that momentum higher again. Now, something I posted yesterday, which was in the Discord for everyone. I don't have the Discord window up on here because my Streamlabs thing broke recently. But essentially, right, what we've been looking at for the last week or so has just been consistent rejection from any imbalance, any gaps that have been created on the chart. Okay, so we can see when we had this CPI, FOMC stuff last week, and then we made another low. All right, we then had this impulse down. Okay, price came back into it, was not able to close above 4-hour time frames. Really nice time frame for all of this. So if you want to look at like what's going on not even high time frames, but a general direction of the market, the 4-hour really is like a great just indicator for where the market is at. And you can see we had rejected here. Okay, we broke down and created another gap. We rejected. We were just continuously like poking above, but not being able to get those closes above. No acceptance back above where these imbalances had formed, and this is where short positions had entered. So we were getting no acceptance there. It was not trapping any short traders. We moved down again. What does that do again here? It creates another gap. And then yesterday we moved down again and it created another gap here. Now, for the first time, we have flipped this into what could be support. So I've changed this gap. And for now, it is a green gap. It is acting as support here. And what I really do not want to see at this stage, if we are going to be searching higher towards those 66K areas, we don't want to see this lost again now. If that is lost, then I do believe that we go back down and we take the lows again. So for now, positive. Okay, I had taken long positions yesterday. I am still holding those because this had flipped. I'm not like compounding any of those positions or anything because we still have downtrend locally. But I'm happy to hold on to these longs that are from like the lows. I did post about this. I tweeted about it yesterday. I did go long. And I'm okay with holding this right now. Now we can see also from a volume point of view, and a volume point of control, that we are coming up into this high volume node. What that corresponds with is we had this order block on the 4-hour here. That shouldn't be green because clearly it's not support. We can make it red. And if you drag that back, okay, you can see where it had previously been trying to act as support on 3 occasions. So we are caught between essentially volume and an abundance of volume here that is going to need volume in which to break through, and a lack of volume that has been flipped with that imbalance, that if it can hold here, we could probably see this start to trend a little bit higher. So another one of those situations today where it is relatively 50-50. It has been like that for a long time, and it will probably continue to be like that for a while until we see something that just gives us like a real decent trigger here. What we can see here as well, if we look at the volume that was accumulated at these lows, it was decent. Okay, you tend to pivot on high volume, and this is the highest that we'd seen on this entire move down. Now, of course, we did have high volume on like Tuesday, Wednesday of last week, but there was news with that, okay, that they were news days, and you would expect that. Now, with this week being a much quieter week, this has been what you could potentially see as being a decent pivot. If we do zoom back and we look at where we had like a just like high volume areas, it was back here where we reversed at 57k. All right, where did we top? Okay, it was on high volume. Where did we bottom, at least locally, when there was news? It was on high volume, and then we've seen high volume again yesterday. The other thing that we don't have, I do watch the RSI in these instances, and I mean, you could say there's a little bit of divergence forming, but if you do go onto the daily and you look at where things are here on the 4-hour, there is the opportunity here. I think if it does push a little bit higher and then drops down, where we could see this dip into that oversold on the 4-hour RSI, and that could give us a little bit more strength potentially here. Now, if we go on to let's go onto this chart here. The other thing, if we're looking at volume at the moment, is that on some perps exchanges, this is on Woo, we have, okay, what we were doing previously was rotating within this upper range, and we had then been caught, and we started to get like an accumulation of time spent at the edge of value. And this is the edge of value of both the lower range that we were in down here and this upper range that we were in up here. And we were just accumulating time at the edge of value, and it is more likely than not that you do break through that to find the next area of balance. And the next area of balance being essentially there is your entire range points of control and this lower range points of control. So this is support. Okay, you can like it is for now support, but what you would want to see at this stage, and this kind of corresponds quite nicely, if we look at where our value area high from the whole range is and our value area low from the upper range, and also where our previous major highs were, is, let's zoom in a little bit more here, is up here at that 67. So we're not really looking bullish again properly until that zone is reclaimed and starts to hold. And even then, I think that the move may not be one that takes us to new all-time highs at this stage, but we can go and start to target some of these highs over here before maybe seeing another correction back down that takes us back into this area again and just starts to slow things down. It could take a while. Like, we could stay here for a while, we can move up, and then we can have a little range that calms down a little bit once we do get back up to that 72k area, but we'll see what happens. But yes, for now, not much of a reaction, but it is the start of what could potentially be a recovery. Now drop things down onto the even lower time frames here, and I'm just going to add on the TPO. If this will load, there we go. We can see, in fact, this is slightly changed from what I had a little bit earlier on. I think depending on what time frame you do this on, there we go. I know a TPO is supposed to be 30 minutes, but this actually looks a little bit cleaner here when you just drop it down onto at least with the candles onto the 15, and with this line onto the 15. So NPOC from yesterday is down here at 64,600, 64,650. If there is to be a drop this morning, or well, anytime today, then we could be looking at that previous day point of control. Now on some exchanges, the POC is higher, and we've already filled that. We basically opened at the point of control. But on some, again, we are looking at that point of control being down here around about that 64,600, where if this is to drop lower, taking out the lows from the Asia session here overnight, and then, yeah, seeing if it can find some support. And if we are to get a move up, there's not really any imbalance up here. Okay, you can see that we did like open within value yesterday. We took out the Monday lows. We are holding above those Monday lows for now, and we are holding around about that daily open for now, just about. And yeah, it is just one of those cases where I think this needs to hold. Otherwise, you would expect this to, yeah, start to drop a little bit lower. Okay, so these are the main levels, right? So if we look at our Monday lows that were put in, which is over here, then currently acting as, well, we are there, right? We took out Monday lows. We are now holding above Monday lows. And of course, those Monday highs being up here at that 67, which is a key level for us if it can start to if it can continue this move higher. Daily open is here. Now, VWAP's just because it's a range-bound day so far. If we look at our VWAP, it's really like not doing a whole lot. You've just been in these outer VWAP bands. You traded through it. We're now down to these lower VWAP bands. And something else I've just spotted here, there was a little gap and a wickless candle here on the 15-minute. This has then been recovered here, but we're very range-bound today, and it's yeah, a case of if this is holding good, I am expecting higher. But if we do start to drop down here and close, I'd say at this stage, even like 30-minute candles, if we start closing 30-minute candles below 65, I would be looking for that move down to the previous day point of control, which if we draw that over here, and we ended over here, we can see once again that 64,600, 64,500 area would be the next target. So we hold here, everything looks good. I'm still holding my long anyway. We can be looking for that previous day open. We can be looking for the weekly open. We can be looking for the VWAP from here. We can be looking for that 67K general area. And maybe even if this does start squeezing, that's monthly open, which is at 67,400. If we don't hold here, then likely we see a drop down towards that 64,500, and then it really like starts to look a little bit sketchy at that stage. I would anticipate maybe a bounce from that, but then probably taking out the lows again and just continuing this downtrend and seeing what can happen from that. But I'd like to see this hold. I am long. I think it has a relatively decent chance to hold and to get a bit of a push higher here. As for the charts, I think that's about everything. We can just flip over and look at our order flow here, at least locally. We'll pop over onto this. This is a very low time frame chart, but we can have a look at what's going on. It is the general thing that we have been seeing on most of these. Most of the times that we get any like bounce, the bounce recently has been more spot-led. Perps are selling, and we do have bullish CVD against the low that was put in yesterday, right? So there is that CVD divergence here against yesterday's low, whilst we are at support. That's not bad. All right, you can see that with spot, it's more or less just followed price, and we are getting that divergence between spot CVD and perp CVD, with perps being the ones that are selling more. If we pop over onto here, we can see an increase in net shorts opening. All right, if we, can we expand this? This is your net shorts, aggregated net shorts, and they are opening like quite a lot of positions. Now, open interest is fairly flat, and that is because, right, as we get these net shorts opening, we are getting net longs that are closing. That is creating that bearish CVD, but at this stage, we have more shorts open than there were yesterday, right? Less longs open than there were yesterday, and open interest being relatively similar. The move down yesterday didn't actually get a whole lot of liquidations, which, if you're expecting a capitulation from this whole move, that clearly hasn't happened with Bitcoin. It has on altcoins, obviously. They have been wrecked. But the move that we saw yesterday didn't really liquidate that many Bitcoin positions. It was much higher. You can see the big drop off in open interest back here on that last low. The liquidations were much higher here. So you could look at it. If you're expecting the capitulation, yes, we need to go lower. We need to liquidate more people. But if we are moving down and the liquidity is no longer really there and it is absorbing this price action and people aren't getting wrecked anymore, then there's not really, it's not cost effective to keep on pushing price lower, because you need to get those liquidations. You need to, like, that's what kind of generates the movement in the market, right? And if we haven't been getting that on this low, then yes, okay, I think this could give us the signs of a recovery, but it is a slower recovery. We're not seeing on this occasion where we just spike down, reverse like we have previously. It's more of just a controlled move down into the point in which people just get fed up. That time capitulation more than anything. And then the recovery also is fairly slow, but if it can hold here and it can start to push up again, it can build that momentum, and then we can be looking at a decent move higher. Now, if we look at where things are right now, okay, this is the Binance chart. We do have some stacked imbalances. So we do have a lot of short positions that opened here at 8:15 local time. So close to the start of this London Open. If these can be flipped, all right, they can potentially be trapped. This for local is the area in which we need to reclaim. And then if it does, then I think, yes, we can be expecting higher prices, and this can start to squeeze out some of these short positions that have been opening throughout the last few days here. So this giving you a really nice, from an order flow perspective, we can see that it was holding a support. You can see that it pushed down. If this can flip again, those stacked imbalances there and this little bit of a gap here, get back above that, everything looks kind of cool again. And remember, we are at that daily open 4-hour support right now. There is not anything more to say with this one. We do, of course, still have spot premium, which is decent. Okay, it's getting to pretty like extreme levels of that premium as well. Like we saw, it can stay down here for a long time. We know that. All right. But with this, you would be expecting this to start to cool off. All right. It is getting to like really quite, we don't spend much below this like 0.035 percent thing on the spot premium. We don't spend a lot of time below there. If this can start to cool off, then yeah, okay, slow recovery could be likely here. When you look at the ETFs, it's a similar kind of situation. There is a slight discount across a lot of the ETFs, and there has been outflows. So we've had 4 days in a row of outflows. 6 of the last 7 days have been outflows. This is, I mean, apart from that big drop that we had down to that 57, this is the most consistent outflows that we've seen. across the market, and you would say it's not significant. It does, I repeat, lead to the fact that like we are seeing that slower, more of a time capitulation thing going on here. It's not really wrecking people and having these huge wicks down, but people are just underwater, fed up, and it's causing a lot of pain for altcoins, because what you want to see if you're trading alts is you want to see certainty within the market, you want to see stability within the market. So often when you get these quick spikes down and then they recover, the alts are like, cool, that's a low. But the market doesn't know if it's a low yet. So it's uncertainty, and that just means people are just clicking the sell button. They want to get out because there's so much uncertainty going on here. Other than that, there's really nothing else to report on when it comes to price. So we'll pop back over onto here. We can see that we are getting a bit of a bounce. So it's a decent area, right? If this can hold, cool. Remember as well today, I should have said this right at the beginning, it is a bank holiday in the US. Weird why they have a bank holiday on a Wednesday. I do not know, but it is a bank holiday in the US. It is a US holiday today. That doesn't mean that markets are completely closed. The NASDAQ is still open for trading. It is just reduced hours, but it does mean that a lot of the stocks and ETFs and everything will not be trading today. So be aware of that. Expect lower volume through the New York session. Okay, yesterday during New York session, this is where all the volume accumulated, and it was just like up, down, up, down, up, down for the entire day. What we could see today, and what I would like to see today, is low volume. Okay, let's hold a support. Let's see a slow, floaty move up that doesn't really get people excited, but maybe just starts to give some opportunities to take profit for these longs. Otherwise, okay, you lose daily open, slow move back down to here, and then I think it's going to be tough to get out of there. And when markets maybe open again tomorrow, spike the lows again, and then see if we can try again for another recovery. So yeah, I am going to wrap it up here once again. This has ended up as a 22-minute video, but please do hit the like button, subscribe if you have not done so already, comment below any of your thoughts or feelings on the market. And yeah, any of that is greatly appreciated. Have a wonderful day. Check out tauruscrypto.com if you've not done so already. We, of course, have a fantastic trading community where, we do live streams on a daily basis. We trade not only Bitcoin and crypto, but we also trade the NQ. People are making a killing over there right now. If I had the Discord thingy open, I need to set up my Streamlabs properly again, then I would show that. But people are making an absolute killing over there, even when the crypto markets are quiet. So if you would like to join a community of professional traders, people who are always looking at the charts, if you are struggling in these kind of environments, then do go over to tauruscrypto.com. And there you can sign up to join the crew. It is less than a cup of cheap coffee every day, and I guarantee it will massively help your trading. And yeah, that's it. So have a great day. I will see you in the next video, and I'm going to continue on with the stream now. Cheers. Bye bye.